Why did you choose to go to Oklahoma?
I chose to go to Oklahoma because it hit every single one of my bullet points. I wanted to play on one of the biggest stages in college football, and I wanted to be somewhat close to home because I'm a family oriented person, and I also have family that lives in Norman, Oklahoma, and I also started to lean more towards offense my senior year, and I love what Riley does. He's definitely an offensive genius, and then. But I've also had those conversations with him, whereas if I can't get on the field early on offense, then I'm willing to play defense. And so my relationship I have with Coach Grinch is a good one, and I definitely believe in what he's doing over there with Speed D. So that's just the main reasons why I chose Oklahoma.
Where do you project yourself on the side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball in college?
On the offensive side of the ball, I project myself not as a true wide receiver. That's not what I am. I feel like I'm somebody who is a person who can be lined up everywhere, somewhere who can be lined up in the slot and take jet sweeps or catch deep balls, be a deep threat, or somebody that can even line up in the backfield and take a pass out the backfield or even a handoff.
So is that kind of like a slot H back? The reason all right, I'm gonna walk this out because I think I know what you're saying. So Urban Meyer had this position on the field for the slot back that was kind of like an H back, is what they called it. But it was what Percy Harvin played in like 2008. It's what KJ Hill played a couple years ago, and that player caught a lot of passes, also took a lot of jet sweeps around, and would return punts, return kicks. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, like a slot back. That's what
Okay.
they call it, like a slot back. Yeah.
Right on, right on. So, like, knowing that that's you, have you paid attention to how Riley has used the tight end H back position? Like, guys that play it this year are Mikey Henderson, Jeremiah Hall, Austin Stogner. Those guys that are bigger and use those traits, whether they're bigger or faster, to take advantage of what the defense has as a mismatch. Have you seen those?
Yeah, I've seen those players. Yeah, I've definitely seen them. But the person I would probably compare myself the most to would probably be Pledger on the offensive side of the ball, just because he's probably a little shorter than me, but somebody like that who can run the ball, because I have great vision, and so the quicker I get the ball, the better I can do something with it. And so I just feel like I'm somebody who can line up in the backfield, but can be motioned out into slot or start in the slot and motion back to the quarterback, like somebody like that.
Right on. So, like, I'd be remiss if I did not bring up DeMarco Murray, who is running backs coach at Oklahoma, but also basically played this position that you're talking about, which I think a lot of people aren't necessarily going to be up on the terminology for slot back outside of playing like the flex bone. But the way that he's deployed because of his athleticism and his speed sounds like what you are into. Have you seen any of DeMarco's film?
Uh, yeah, I've seen some of his film. I mean, I haven't looked into it like that though.
Okay, well, I would encourage you to do that because, like, I know it's an old head talking to you. Like, I'm in my 30s, and DeMarco was in college when I was in college. But I feel
Mm-hmm.
like if you see more of what he was doing, they lined him up in the slot. They gave him the ball on bubble screens. They handed him the ball from 7 yards deep. Anything that he could do to get him the ball sounds cool. What about the defensive side of the ball? Where do you see yourself lining up there?
Um, I see myself as a nickel, to be honest, because I feel like that's what the next level. That's what the NFL is starting to use more, and I feel like I can, my ability is what a nickel is. It's somebody who can play a zone coverage or play a man on a slot receiver or even blitz.
Yo, man, now you talking my language because, like, um, that nickel is the toughest position to play in football,
Yep.
period. And there's been some consternation among fans about how the nickel is played in Grinch's system, but it's always on the field, and you are
Mm-hmm.
always going to be doing something. You're either blitzing off the edge or you're running with slot guys. So knowing
Yeah.
that you want to play the nickel, I think it's going to be really inspired to a lot of folks, but also that you feel like you are a nickel. So do you get a lot of run at Denton Ryan playing nickel?
We don't have a true nickel, but last year I did play our strong safety. So I
Okay.
was down
Yeah.
in the box, closer to the ball most of the time. But my sophomore year and this year, I'm playing corner right now.
Okay. All right. And most of us know what you can do on special teams, returning punts, returning kicks. I do need to ask this, though, because I feel like I would be remiss. What led to your decision to decommit from Texas? Because it felt like over the summer that you weren't going to go anywhere else except Austin.
To be honest, it was all about how I started feeling about what I wanted to play at the next level.
Okay.
And when I started knowing that I was leaning more towards offense, and I wasn't getting recruited that much at Texas for offense because they thought I was sold on defense. And so when I got that feeling of what I really wanted to play, then I just felt like Texas wasn't the fit for me.
So projecting yourself to the NFL then, what position, or not even what position, what player in the NFL do you compare yourself to most?
On offense, I would compare myself to an Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill type guy.
Okay.
And on defense, I have to go with Tyrann Mathieu.
Hey, all right, now you're just speaking the language of modern NFL players, which I think is really interesting and encouraging. What do you plan to study at OU?
Kinesiology.
Ooh, all right. I got a degree in exercise science. What do you want to do after football?
After football, I would definitely want to open up my own training facility in workout area space, something that got a weight room, a turf field, somewhere where I can have the opportunity to train people and players.
Man, you and Jalen Milroe need to talk because when I talked with him, that was what he was planning to do too. So y'all need to get at each other about what y'all gonna do after football, man. Billy Bowman, it is great to talk with you, dog. Is there anything that you want to talk about that we didn't get a chance to talk about?
No, but I do have a fun fact.
Oh, please. Yeah.
One of my cousins was the corner at OU about 4 years ago. Julian Wilson wore the same number 2, and he was starting corner. And so that's a little family background I have there. One of my cousins was starting corner at OU.
I did not know that. I love it.
Yep.
So Julian coming out of sophomore about the time that I was going to grad school at OU. So I got to know Julian a little bit. They also tried to tell him to play nickel.
Yeah. Originally, he was a track dude.
Mm-hmm.
Football, yeah.
Yeah, he's enormous too. I remember looking
yeah.
at him going, you playing corner? Dog,
Yeah.
all right. And then, look, my favorite memory of Julian is when they made him play middle linebacker against West Virginia. And he's still hot about it. I don't do that. What are you doing to me?
Yeah.
Put me in the middle. Thanks, Billy. I appreciate this, dog.
Yes, sir.